Hello, humanity. You are created by God and loved by your Creator. Let's get right into this today. I have so much on my mind and so much that I actually would like to share, and I'm not even sure it's going to take 15 minutes. Let me grab my notes here because I prepared this morning to come to you all, and I really didn't have a whole lot to talk about. My notes are really short here. Um, the triumph of the weekend, I think, is what I'm going to entitle this one. And so I always start with a bit of gratitude. So I'm really grateful for fruit of the spirit, self-control. Oh, by the way, my name is Deborah. If you have found this video, you have to have tripped, fallen, and face planted hard because I'm creating content that I want to come back to later, that I want to read, write, or speak about later. Then I want to capture all of it, including facial expression, where I am at this point in my life, how this content even came about, and what's going on. So I really want to create content to talk to people who look like me, but also people who share similar beliefs, convictions, faith values, and really are looking to be encouraged, but also maybe take away something of value that expands where they're growing and is a contribution to them. So there you have it. Self-control. I think probably the one thing I learned in this past week is that I am 100% responsible for my actions. If I can't even say that I know what consequences perhaps, or even rewards, or just outcomes from my actions will produce, I am 100% responsible for my actions. And it made me, just saying that made me think of my neighbor up the street who knew me as a child growing up. We call her Granny Robinson. And Granny Robinson was a school bus driver. And Granny Robinson, I swear, has lived forever. I mean, she's one of those people that when I was little, she was old. And as she's gotten older, she looks like she's the same version of old. In fact, just a little side note, I'll never forget when Granny Robinson had to have been in her 70s at least, and she was a caregiver for a woman who was nearly 100 years old. And I was just like, Granny Robinson knows a lot of old people. Like, wow, like shocking. Like, I was just shocked. Like, there are people that are still older than you, Granny, and you know them? So anyway, Granny Robinson is a school bus driver. One of her favorite things to do with my siblings and I, she would be like, do you want to go to Belle Isle? Do you want to go to Belle Isle? And and eat watermelon? Like it was like her whole thing. The whole thing was going to be go to Belle Isle and eat watermelon. I was like, does watermelon taste better on Belle Isle? For those of you who don't know, I am in Michigan. Belle Isle is a park here in Detroit, developed and designed by the same gentleman who I believe designed Central Park in New York and a couple of other like landmark, parks in various cities. Like he just designed parks. That's what he did, whatever his name is. Anyway, and Belle Isle is a beautiful park, and in Detroit. It's had its moments. I'm sure it's seen better days, and it's still coming back. I believe it's officially a state park now. Anyway, Granny Robinson would want to go to Belle Isle and eat watermelon. But one of the things she would say to me, because Granny Robinson was a school bus driver, is Granny Robinson would say, stay in your lane. That was like her advice for life. Stay in your lane. Stay in your lane. So as I think about this being 100% responsible for what I do, it draws out this creepy grossness. I don't even know what else to call it, that lives with me, where I'm like, I want to be accountable and responsible for everything else but me. Because if something works or doesn't work, I want to be able to blame somebody else. So this stay in your lane and being 100% responsible and self-control is just this unrelenting mirror where I have to look at myself and deal with myself and address what's going on over here with me, regardless of what I think it is, I have to be willing to be honest and tell the truth. So if I tell one on myself right now, I'm in this amazing season where I'm moving from being an employee to looking at being a business owner and being responsible for the fact that if I'm going to make money, oh yeah, that me? Is there anybody, can I go clock in somewhere, please? Can I go clock in and then complain about the job and sit around and do nothing and still get paid? Okay, I didn't do that, but some of you know it's true. You have milked a clock before. You know what I'm talking about? Where you stood around and supported a wall like it was falling, and you were like, if I stand here long enough, and I just made an extra $5. Those kinds of things. This is just not that. It's not that. On days like today where I think I'm dealing with some low grade of frustration, irritation, maybe slightly depressed, I don't know, but where you don't feel motivated, like I just don't feel inspired, I'm still responsible. And on the days that I'm like, yeah, I'm totally jazzed and I feel amazing, still responsible. And it really isn't about how I feel. There is this being responsible for showing up in my life consistently, whether I want to or not. So, one of the ways that shows up for me is in working out. I, for the first time, have missed a day of working out last week. I missed the first time probably since October. And I remember I did not sleep that well. My body felt tight and crampy and weird. And then today I got up and I just did not feel like working out. And I just thought, if I take action based on how I feel, I am going to be hungry. That's just how it's going to go. I'm going to be hungry. I won't have a place to live, and I won't be able to fulfill on the things that I want to do in my life. So I'm noticing for a person with a skill set such as going to massage therapy, voiceover, financial advising and coaching and training and education for myself, for people that I know and love, pursuing my degree as a speech language pathologist. Like if I don't take the action, I won't be doing anything. I won't be earning anything. I won't be fulfilling on any of my dreams. I won't be. So I don't know what you may have gotten out of this, but I know for myself what I've gotten out of this is that there won't be a moment in life where you get to not be responsible. One of the things I did today is I promised my cousin I would go see my aunt, who is in a rehab facility recovering, and she seems to be doing well. But I had a conversation with her because at the age of 81, I asked her, Auntie, what do you really want? What is it that you actually want? Now, I'm pretty confident she would like life on her terms the way she wants, yet there are limitations with her body, limitations with her mobility, and really and truly, it's about looking at what's so and creating, even in the face of that, and having life be amazing regardless of the limitation. And it really is a choice that she can make. Yeah, maybe she's going to live in an assisted living facility. Maybe she's going to need to hire, caregivers. Maybe, there's any number of things that could be a possibility. But what I did take away is that the biggest thing about being 100% responsible is that you can also let people contribute to you. In the world of business or community or commerce or caregiving, like whatever environment it is, there's probably some version or cycle of reciprocity at play. And more often than not, many of the opportunities we're looking for may show up in places that we didn't expect. And to accept an invitation to do something or accept an invitation to volunteer or contribute somewhere, because I'm clear about the fact that if I am willing to show up and be in spaces with people, that as I share who I am, contributing to them, right, that there is the possibility of it being reciprocated, that they share who they are, and who knows what relationships get created, who knows what things you deposit or leave with somebody else actually show up. There's always an opportunity. I'm really coming to you quite late due to the fact that I was on a conversation with a young lady for about 3 hours, just looking at the places in life where, in being 100% responsible, when we neglect showing up and being responsible for who we are, that we can even put others at risk. We can communicate a lack of care. We can communicate a lack of concern, perhaps even neglect or unsafe environments when we opt to not be responsible. And so for me, I'm confronted right now. It is really, really confronting. I am dealing with the fact that I am an expression on this planet that God has seen fit to have here for a lot of years. And I'm neglecting the gifts, talents, and opportunities that are showing up. So we are at the end of March, and I am coming into the place where I am unwilling to stay this way. So even in my weird funk like today, even in my some level of resistance or don't want to, whatever that is, in that place, being willing to show up courageously anyway and be a difference, like make the difference, not only for myself, but I know for a fact that someone is waiting on me to show up for life to keep going, because in me showing up and fulfilling on who I'm meant to be, I get to hand off or interact with, or so to speak, pass the baton to somebody else so that they can run with what's next for them, because someone's waiting on them. So my question to you, who's waiting on you? What are you not stepping into that you know is your gifting or your calling or your passion or your, I don't know, business, your book, your ministry, your podcast, your something? It doesn't have to look hot and pretty. I mean, look at me. I'm a hot mess. A hot mess. But show up, because it gives rise to something else being possible. And I am looking around my living space right now of the madness. It is not pretty on the other side of this camera right now. And I'm committed that I show up anyway. So I hope you got something of value out of tonight. It took more than 5 minutes to get that said. I think I was a little bit redundant, but I will never forget today. I won't forget today. I think I mentioned something about a weekend of triumph, I think is what the title of this was going to be. I didn't mention anything about the weekend. Here's a quick recap of the weekend. Me and a couple of girlfriends had some tremendous interactions where we got to deal with ourselves, and we had massive breakthroughs in dealing with those things. I am going to share the narrative on that for a future date, because it needs more than the 2 minutes that I actually have. So here's what I will leave that with. Deb, be sure to come back to the weekend of, what is this past weekend? March 25th, which it was my nephew's birthday. Happy birthday, nephew. But over that weekend, I had a couple of girlfriends and myself have tremendous breakthroughs, and I'm forever grateful to be on the journey that I am, living my life out loud and setting an example for people who are coming up behind me, and that I've been able to blaze a trail for them to know, hey, you will get through this. And I'm thankful that I get to follow in the footsteps of women who have gone before me, who are like, Deb, you got this. So again, I hope you got something of value. And I think that's everything I have to say for tonight, or for this morning, whatever time it is. I'm out.